Yeah, I was born, brought up in Chennai. I studied there, and then, of course, I also studied in Pondicherry University and also Tanjavur Tamil University. Later, I worked in many places. I mean, initially, I worked as a volunteer in a major national program. It's a national program for literacy. There was a major program called Literacy Campaign when Rajiv Gandhi was Prime Minister. That was organized all over the country. So I was
Even before I was born.
I was able to take part. I was able to go to deep villages. I was able to see the thirst for knowledge among people in different part of the country. I think that's one important fact in my life. I mean, one experience in my life I can't forget. Then I worked in an organization in Trivandrum called Center for Development of Imaging Technology. And then in that place, we set up a course for training people to make science and development.
तो ये तो थे कुछ ऐसे सवाल जो आप लोग सर के बारे में अगर जानना चाहते हैं तो आप लोग ये इंटरव्यू देख सकते हैं। अब हम लोग सर से कुछ ऐसे सवाल पूछेंगे जो कि साइंस कम्युनिकेशन से रिलेटेड है। जो मैं साइंस कम्युनिकेशन करता हूं, मेरे कुछ दोस्त हैं जिन्होंने मुझे कुछ सवाल भेजे हैं जब मैंने बताया कि मैं सर का इंटरव्यू करने जा रहा हूं। तो अब आप लोगों को जो सवाल मिलेंगे वो साइंस कम्युनिकेशन से मिलेंगे और इस पार्ट में हम लोग बात करेंगे सर के एक्सपीरियंसेस के बारे में। तो सर सबसे पहले तो साइंस कम्युनिकेशन के बारे में हमें कुछ बताइए कि एग्जैक्टली साइंस कम्युनिकेशन क्या है, अगर हम किसी लेमैन को समझाना चाहें तो।
Okay, can I tell a story?
यस सर, श्योर।
This is a folk tale. So in this folk tale, a fish and a frog are friends. Okay, not frog. It tadpole.
Tadpole.
Tadpole only grows and becomes a frog. So when it is a tadpole, where does it live? In water.
In water.
Where does a fish live?
Water.
Water. So both of them are friends. They are swimming in the pond. They are all happy. One day, tadpole becomes
Frog.
So when it becomes frog, what has happened? It jumps into the land.
Jumps into the land.
So when it is on the land, and because its close friend is a fish, it has to describe the land to the fish, right? So how will it describe? Suppose if the frog goes and tell the fish, I saw clouds, they are all very nice. There are tall trees, they are very beautiful. Will it make any sense to the fish?
No.
Because fish has never seen a cloud, would never see a tree, right? So then maybe the frog has to say something like a jellyfish floating on a pond. There are something like a white stuff which floats. That's called cloud.
Relatable.
Yeah. So when I say this, I am also making a claim that people, within quotes, or ordinary people, or lay public, whichever way you want to call it, are in a pond, and the science communicator is a frog, and science is the land. Science is the land, our everyday experience is a pond, and science communicator is somebody who is able to go here and there. That's what I am claiming.
Yes, sir.
But I need to prove this. Let's prove it. I kick a ball. What will happen to the ball?
Will start rolling off.
How then?
After some time it will stop.
Stop. We will never ask a question why it stops in our everyday life.
Yes, sir.
Okay? In everyday life, you don't give an explanation of why it stops. But if suppose in some place the ball goes for a longer distance, in our everyday life we will say that, oh, there is no friction. That's everyday life. But whereas if I am going to the land of physics, according to Newton's first law, the ball kicked should be keep on going forever. So we are giving an explanation of why the ball stopped, not why the ball moved. Okay, but in our everyday life, we will be giving explanation of why the ball moves, not why the ball stops. Because for us, ball stopping is natural. Why the ball is moving is the puzzling part.
जी.
But whereas in the land of physics, moving is not a puzzling part. Why it is stopping is a puzzling part.
मतलब कि बेसिकली फिजिक्स में जो चीज हम लोग समझा रहे हैं कि
Counterintuitive. Counterintuitive. I drop two objects from the same height. One is 500 kilo, the other is 5 gram. Which will hit the ground first?
इफ वी नेग्लेक्ट द एयर फ्रिक्शन, मतलब अगर हम लोग
Everybody most likely would immediately say that the.
जो भारी है वो ज्यादा जल्दी गिरेगा. हाँ,
But what does the science say?
दोनों सेम टाइम पे गिरेंगे.
Assuming that there is no air friction or the role of air friction is very less, right? Yeah. So the world of science is counterintuitive. It's counterintuitive in many ways. For example, this is again one example that I tell people. One day, my wife is inside, she should not hear. If she hears, then I'll get a beat up. Okay.
Okay.
So silently we'll talk.
Okay.
One day I called my wife. And then she told me that it's raining in Delhi. That time I was outside Delhi. I was wondering, is it raining? This is not the rainy period. She said, no, it's raining. I can hear the sound. Then I asked her, oh, what? How? I'm still on the bed, but I can hear the sound of the rain. Then I thought, maybe unusual rain. Evening, I come to know that it was not raining, it was an overflowing tank. What is the purpose that I am saying? In science, we don't believe if a person says. In everyday life, if you say something, it is it's a kind of a moral duty for me to believe you, right? But in science, we don't believe. We need evidence.
We need evidence.
It's counterintuitive. It's very, very difficult for people. Okay. This you can see in our behavior itself, right? I mean, see when there is a small child and you say that child, please drink the milk. The child asks, why? We get immediately offended, right? I am such an older person, I am such a senior person, you are such a small person. So I'll tell you, you do it.
Yes, sir.
But the beauty of science or the importance of science, the fundamental crux of science is asking that question, why should I drink the milk? Correct?
Yes, sir.
So our everyday life, the logic, our prejudices, our priori knowledge of everyday life, many times are counterintuitive to what actually the world is, what actually the universe is. Okay? So there is our everyday experience, everyday life. There is the world of science, where there is a lot of unknowability or unfamiliarity to our audience. So the role of science communicator is to be a frog. Travel to the world of land, explain it in terms of the pond. That's a simple.
That's a very beautiful explanation of science communication. Even I haven't think of that. That's what the experience gives the explanation. यहाँ पर भाई अब मैं चुप हूँ, यहाँ पर मैं सिर्फ सुनने आया हूँ. सर अब जो टाइम है, like we are living in a pandemic situation. There is a virus roaming outside and just locked us down in our houses. So now we are many people are thinking that science communication is important. They don't know about science communication, but अब वो लोग भी कह रहे हैं कि यार मीडिया वाले वो वाली न्यूज नहीं दिखाते जो हमको देखनी है, लाइक इसका एक्सप्लेनेशन नहीं दिखाते that why what vaccine is, what coronavirus is doing, what लाइक न्यू जो म्यूटेशन हुआ है वायरस में वो कितना खतरनाक है, ये सब चीजें नहीं दिखाते. तो अब नाउ पीपल वांट टू लिसन टू साइंस कम्युनिकेशन. व्हाट exactly the importance do you feel that people are lagging? what importance of science communication?
If you ask me what is the one key important lesson this pandemic has taught us, I would say that if I have to be living well, we have to live well. That's, I think, very important. If I have to be healthy, we have to be healthy.
We have to be healthy.
I cannot be healthy alone. That's something that this pandemic has taught us very, very clearly. If I should not get infection, people around me should not be getting infection. If they get infection, some or other I will get the infection. Yeah. So if I have to save myself, it's not enough that I save myself. We need to save everybody. Okay. So this, I think, is a one key important message this pandemic has brought to our mind, but we are forgetting. We are going back again and again thinking about saving myself, saving oneself. That's not going to be possible. That's what the pandemic has told. One part of the world, this pandemic started in one part of the world. Imagine, the whole world was in lockdown. Okay, so it's important for us to understand this part very, very clearly. And I think the science communication should be based around that. It is not about only, let's say, curious information about that virus, what that virus is, how long it is it's a genome, how many proteins are there. Yeah, there are people are interested. I mean, all of us are curious, so curiosity, that is important. But I think the perspective is not alarming. The perspective is not scaremongering. The perspective is let's come together and fight. That, I think, is a key message that we need to keep on communicating. Because this pandemic is not going to be the first and last. All experts are telling that with the population going up like this, I mean, what will be the population of the world down the line, let's say in another 30 years? Okay, it's going to double. Yeah, with that kind of population pressure.
And we are we will be having more interactions with the wildlife.
Exactly. So density will also increase, right? Human density will also increase. So which means that we will be having such threats in near future. So if you have to be prepared for that, it's not only about pandemic, it's also about, I mean, not only about virus, it's also about, for example, communicable disease, various other issues. I mean, even, for example, the increasing trend in obesity. Why obesity is increasing in Western world and to an extent, for example, in the middle class in India? It's because of certain lifestyle issues, right? Like sugarated drinks, excessive sugarated drinks, excessive sugarated food, largely carbohydrate rich food with very little fiber and so on and so forth, right? This, if you have to face, is it something that one individual can do alone? No. One individual might be able to do, but broadly it's not going to be helping the whole community, right? We need society-wise actions, you know. So this part that we are not an island, but each of us are dependent on other. So it means that we need to respect others. We need to be in communal harmony with others. That, I think, is a very important message that we have to learn from this pandemic.
Yeah, okay. And my next question to you is, sir, there are a lot of students who wants to become science communicator, but they don't know how to become a science communicator. And something like science journalism is not popular in India. So we just know this journalist going in a protest or covering any news, and those are just the journalists. But kindly tell us something about science communication that people can do, that one can pursue as a career.
Yeah, I mean this condition, for example, for science communication, more opportunity or more need, let's say, has arisen in the recent past. Various social media and other platforms are providing such scope that so that you can actually reach to your audience, which was difficult earlier times because you have to think of print, which means cost. I mean, today with less cost, I mean, you will be able to reach. That's so it's accessible. So in Vigan Pasar, we are conducting quite a number of science communication courses, of course, which we advertise in our website through social media. We circulate, so you can join that. You can try to pick up some skills. So in addition to Vigan Pasar, there are many organizations, including, for example, CSIR,
Niscares,
yeah, NISCAR, CSIR. There are also other
which is
agencies.
now NISPER.
Yeah. There are also other agencies, I mean, who are also conducting science
Like
communication.
Indian Society for Science Communication,
Yeah.
if I'm taking the name correctly.
So if you Google, you will find many more such things, and most of them are looking at people who are doing their masters or something like that, because you need to have some bit of background science knowledge if you have to work on it, or you have to make that kind of effort, right? So many of these are targeting that. So if you are in an educational institution, through that notice board and bulletin boards, perhaps you'll be able to come across such opportunities. So these are the things that you need to take up. You do need a bit of, let's say, training. Like if you want to ride a bicycle, you need, because it's a skill. Science communication is a skill. In addition to knowledge and attitudes, which are also part of it, that's a separate one. Even purely as craft, if you are looking at it, it's a skill. So you would need a bit of hand holding. Of course, there are few people who do things by themselves. Maybe they get that kind of hand holding by circuitous methods. But by and large, we will require that. So we will step up. Vigyan Prasar is planning to step up its science communication opportunities, training opportunities.
What exactly, like we are doing science communication through YouTube, and many people are doing. So, according to you, what qualities should a science communicator have in them so that they can better explain their story, or they better explain their topic to the masses?
Curiosity, search. Okay, there is a very interesting saying. It's the travel which is important, not the destination. That is, if you are going for a vacation, it's not the destination that is very interesting. It is the travel that you go. Maybe friends have gathered together, or the family is going on a vacation, whichever way. Okay, you all get together. How you sit on a train, chit chat, fight, whatever. No, I mean that's more important than reaching a place, right? So, in the same way, in science communication, this quest is a very important aspect. I'll just give you a personal example. Okay, we have all read Kepler's laws.
Yes, sir.
So, what is the first law of Kepler?
First law of Kepler says that the path of a planet will be elliptical.
How do we know it? How did Kepler find it?
Okay.
You are
So-
sitting on Earth. Okay. Suppose if I have a rocket, go on top of the solar system and watch. I'll find the center, sun at the center, planets around. Okay. And if I can keep watching for many years, because Earth itself is going to take 1 year to go around. Okay. Mars is going to take about 2 years to go around. Jupiter is going to take 12 years to go around. Okay. Which is not possible. There is no rocket. Even now, there is no such a thing that you can go on top and sit and watch the whole solar system. Even now, it is not possible. Sitting on Earth, how did Kepler conclude that planets are going in elliptical orbit? That was a quest that I started. I mean, that came to my mind. Okay, why it came to my mind? Just came to my mind. I asked you the question. Don't believe anything just because it is written or told by whatever be the Granth, don't believe it. Whatever be the Guru, don't believe it. Check it,
क्रॉस चेक.
cross check. That's what is science. Kepler's first law, so I wanted to know how that person did it. I looked at so many places, I could not find it. Because everywhere it's only said that Kepler found it, right? It took me 3 years to actually discover the methodology the Kepler used. So the point is that there should be some question in your mind that you are constantly asking. If you are a science communicator about science, so then you are the inquirer. Once you are the inquirer, then your passion to know you will be transmitting through your communication. It is that passion which actually matters. So if you look at Rabindranath Tagore, so apparently somebody asked Rabindranath Tagore that who is a good teacher, school teacher. So Rabindranath Tagore said that I don't care if the teacher has some hobby, even if it is stamp collection, that teacher is a good teacher. Why? Because if the teacher has some hobby and then the person is passionate about something, that teacher would be able to inspire the kids. Right? So that's what Rabindranath Tagore meant. That's an essential skill I would say that a science communicator should have. First and foremost.
Note it down.
Second, do you read? So the question is, if you are a communicator, you should be reading others. Do you read science communication? What others are writing in different places, books, journals,
That's very
magazines?
important.
Yeah, very important. So there are a lot of people who say that no, I don't read them. I'll write. You will be bored. You will be terrible bored. Okay, so that's I think important aspect that you should read what others are or watch. When I say read, if you're making a film, then you should be watching. Okay, so that's I think another important quality. The third important quality is that as a communicator, you are framing things. So when you are framing things, you are also bringing in certain values. So you should be very, very, very responsible for what you are saying, the values that you are bringing in, what kind of impact it's going to have on society. You should be very conscious of it. So you need to choose those things very carefully, right? So that's I think I would say that three major. I mean, if I have to list them, that's what I would list as first three.
ओके, सो क्यूरियोसिटी तो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है और उसके बाद आप लोगों को पढ़ना भी है यार. बिना पढ़े हम लोग साइंस कम्युनिकेशन कैसे कर पाएंगे? जितने भी मेरे साइंस कम्युनिकेशन वाले दोस्त ये वीडियो देख रहे हैं.
And then responsible. You are
Responsibility.
So you are responsible for
You
your
are
writing.
responsible for that. तो सर किसी भी स्टोरी को राइट करना, किसी भी रिपोर्ट को लिखना, या फिर अगर हम एज अ रिपोर्टर कुछ भी चीज़ लेके जाते हैं और किसी रिपोर्ट को लिखना एंड साइंस कम्युनिकेशन करना, तो क्या राइटिंग में हमारी होना चाहिए कि राइटिंग कैसी होनी चाहिए? मेरे हिसाब से तो सिंपल, अगर इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज में अगर हम लोग भी लिख रहे हैं, सिंपल लैंग्वेज. एक चीज़ मैंने जो नोटिस करी है वो मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगा कि जितनी भी किताबें हैं हमारे पास, उनमें सबसे अच्छी किताबें वही मैंने पढ़ी हैं जिनकी लैंग्वेज सिंपल हो, क्योंकि लैंग्वेज नहीं समझेगी तो कुछ नहीं समझ आएगा. तो आपको क्या लगता है कि एक रिपोर्ट को अगर राइट करना है तो?
See, two things I would put there as my let's say gut feeling or what I follow. One is something that one of my teacher told me, that when you are a writer, when I say writer, I also mean filmmaker, any creative person who is engaged in communication. Okay, so writing is a kind of a simplest way in which I am saying it, but it applies to all forms of communication. So what he said was that you are a wordsmith. You are a blacksmith. What does a blacksmith do?
हथौड़े से पीट पीट के ये शेप देता है उसको.
So he says that you are a wordsmith. So you are taking words, you are combining words, you are joining words. Okay. So you should feel like you are a smithy who is putting up the words together. So think about it. Should I send a sentence like this or should I write a sentence like this? Think about it. So that's one thing that he said. That's I think so that makes your communication more accessible. Second, why do people want to read? If you are going to look at it purely in a utilitarian fashion, you can say that people are going to read to get some information. But we are all human beings. Okay, so as human being, I mean, if you look at what is the first evidence of human civilization, one is of course we can think about fire, but otherwise expressive. It's art.
Art. Some pictures in the caves and all.
Which is a kind of a communication. But it's art. So aesthetic aspect is very important. So how do you bring aesthetics into your writing so that when people read, they don't read it as some cut and dried material, but as something they are reading some kind of a literature. How do you make elevate your writing, science writing, into kind of a literary experience? This I think is an important challenge. Wordsmithy and making elevating it to literary standards. These are, I think, two important stuff I would talk about.
So many science channels are there in India. Okay, let me ask first you this question: that do you watch YouTube? Do you watch science on YouTube?
Yeah.
Which is there. So many people are combining science with myth and then making videos and getting a lot of views. I'm not criticizing them, but how do you see that?
That's a point that I was making, that you should be responsible for what you communicate. If you are going to say that I'm going to communicate something because I believe, or if you're going to say that I'm going to communicate something because a lot of people will watch, then you are not responsible. Okay. So taking responsibility is that you are thinking, reflecting deeply on what you are communicating. Do you have evidence? First of all, do you understand what is called evidence? That's something that one has to ask when you are doing communication. Okay. Then second, do you have evidence for the claim that you are making? How far your claim is justified by the evidence that you have got? Not always the evidence that you have got will be able to justify your claim completely. Probably, most likely, maybe, right? So, okay. If you are not going to think these things, if you are not going to be reflecting on this, then you are doing injustice to your audience. There is no difference between you in that context. Okay, when you are doing it unthinkingly, not taking irresponsibly, and so on, there is no difference between you and a person who lies, cheat, and take away people's various stuff. Okay, there is no difference between you and a robber. Yeah, everybody will make mistake. You will make mistake, I will make mistake. So I'm not talking about making mistake. Making mistake is very, very different from doing something without thinking, doing something without taking responsibility, doing something without reflection. All will make mistakes. So I'm not going to point out that you made mistake or I made mistake. Everybody will make mistake. So it's not about mistakes I'm talking about. It's about your attitude when you made that program. Yeah. So that's, I think, very important.
Okay. So these were my questions, and now I would like to ask some questions that one of my friend has sent me, as she follows you, like we all follow you as our elder, like in science communication, because we have seen you. So she want to ask that recently you wrote an article on people's science movement.
Yeah.
Can you briefly explain what role does science for social revolution plays in the modern India?
Yeah, okay. The way, for example, the connection between science, technology, development, and society, you can broadly imagine them in three ways. One is looking at science and technology as autonomous, they have no social role. Okay, it's all purely academic, esoteric work. So that's one, which is not largely the view most will take today, at least publicly. They may be privately thinking that, but publicly people won't take that. The second is that what is happening today is that is the nature. The third is actually asking question that what is happening today, is it the natural or is it because of result of various forces? I'll explain with some example, it will be more clear. Uh, let's look at, for example, a disease like tuberculosis, okay, which is a disease which affects poor people, third world countries, remote parts of the world. Are there enough research on tuberculosis in terms of drugs, in terms of prevention, in terms of vaccine, in comparison to, let's say, for example, some other disease which are affluent related, let's say obesity? You would find huge investment is there in obesity, and I mean, even for example, WHO says that diseases like tuberculosis are orphan diseases, meaning that diseases on which nobody is taking ownership, responsibility, nobody is investing. But if you look at the number of people who are potentially affectable by tuberculosis, it will be huge. Okay, so there is something called as undone science here, right? Yeah. So the movements like Science for Social Revolution ask this very important question: are we investing rightly in such a way that the most deprived sections are getting benefited from such efforts? Yeah, so I think it's a very important question in a country like India, in a world, in today's world, where some 100 people are owning asset which are equivalent to the assets owned by 50% of the people living in this world. If you look at all the assets, 100 people are owning what the bottommost 50% of the world population is holding. That's the inequity that we are seeing, okay, in terms of assets. So, in this situation, should we not ask question that more and more should benefit this bottom 50%? Yeah. So that's a kind of question that that's a kind of quest, for example, that a movement like Science for Social Revolution would demand, ask.
Okay. And her next question is, what change has India Science TV brought in our country, and what other changes can we expect from such initiatives? So I think we have answered it in the previous section, but what will you say
Yeah.
now?
Number one, India Science TV is a internet TV. It's a OTT channel. So Google India Science TV, then you will get a connection. There is
Or
an
you
app.
can have an app also.
There is an app.
There's
so
an
that,
app
download that app. Maybe
for
I
both
suppose
iOS,
yeah,
Apple
both for
and
Android and
iOS.
iOS it's available. The India Science TV has done following things. Number one, it has brought frontier science in an accessible manner in Indian, let's say, communication cosmology. Meaning that a program made in Western world is very, very, very good for you and me, because we are, I mean, we are accultured to that because of our, urban living and so on and so forth. But would it make any sense to people living in distant part in country, small towns, villages. No, right? So India TV has brought in India Science TV.
India Science TV
has brought in that aspect. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, that it has also showed that how you can bring in research happening in India, like I was saying about showcasing Indian science. So Indian Science TV has also been able to showcase science happening in India in many ways, different programs. Okay, so this is a second. Third, in Indian languages. Right now, of course, limited to Hindi, but
and
soon
English.
other languages will also follow, I'm sure. So this, I think, and as I was also pointing out that Vigyan Prasar always reinvents itself. It doesn't stick to what was there earlier. The future trend is OTT, right? Televisions are going to shift to OTT. So we have already shifted. Okay. So instead of investing in the regular kind of television system, we have shifted to what would be the future technology.
So I'm just asking one question that like there are channels like Discovery Channel,
Yeah.
or we will say that Net Geo, and we are watching shows on Indian origin on those channels. But the channel like Epic Channel, Epic Indian Information Channel, so these channels are informating people about us in a way which we understand. So what that's what India Science TV is doing. So what can we expect?
I would
From
like to make 2 points. I mean, I don't want to pick up any particular channel and give comment which will be very wrong. Okay, but 2 things I want to point out is, number one, that when you go to a food court, you want more choices. I mean, you don't like if there is in food court, if you get only a Punjabi tadka, you are not happy. You meaning broad crowd. Okay, so you also need on side a South Indian, on another side Mughlai, on another side Chinese, and whatever, right? So you need different ways of. So you need more people to actually produce in different ways. That's number one. So more is better. So I'm not worried about that more part. Next is when a program is produced. The program can be produced on Indian science for an Indian audience and on science in India to a Western audience. So there is an implicit audience to your program whenever you are producing. Okay, there I think we are very clear that we are producing for Indian audience. Yeah, so that's why I was pointing out that the media acculturation of let's say the middle class in urban India, we are accultured to watching certain programs. So even if we are living in India, maybe mentally we are living in okay. So there is a difference. We need to understand that.
Okay. So it was very nice to talk to you, sir. And from here we will sign off. And हमारे लिए थोड़ा सा सब्सक्राइबर्स की अपील करने के लिए अभी हम आपको रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे. उससे पहले मैं एक चीज भाई क्लियर कर दूं. सर ने शुरुआत में बोला था 2020. आप लोग उस चीज को पकड़ के मुझे ये मत बोलना कि भाई मैं 2020 की वीडियो अभी लेके आ रहा हूँ. 2021 में ही शूट हो रही है और 2021 में ही आएगी. वरना तुम लोग बोलते हो रोजेंडर भाई आप मतलब बहुत लेट वीडियोस निकालते हो. ये 2021 की ही वीडियो है. वो सर 2020 पैंडेमिक के बारे में बता रहे थे. सर हमारे लिए अगर आप छोटे से सब्सक्राइबर्स की अपील कर देंगे तो बहुत अच्छा.
Do please subscribe to this channel. Do watch. I mean, not just only this channel, many channels. I think it's very important that such efforts are promoted, supported, and it ultimately benefits us. Okay, so it's not only benefit for him or his team, but it all benefits us and our friends, our children, our neighbors. Okay, subscribe to this channel.
एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच सर. हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. और आपसे बात करके हमें बड़ा मजा आया और काफी कुछ मुझे आज सीखने को मिला. मैं जो सीख करता हूँ, मैं मेरे जो डाउट्स थे, और ये जो पेपर है वो ऑलमोस्ट ये आप कह सकते हैं कि एक स्टूडेंट जो है वो अपने डाउट्स लेकर आया है टीचर से क्लियर करने के लिए, और अब मैं अपने डाउट्स क्लियर करके जा रहा हूँ। और अब मैं आपसे वादा करता हूँ कि इस काम को हम लोग करते रहेंगे और ज़्यादा जिम्मेदारी से करेंगे। थैंक यू वेरी मच, थैंक यू वेरी मच।